Chapter 5, Zephyr. Just as I figured, another ass-kissing, nice-to-your-face, stab-you-in-the-back, high-priced $300 a plate dinner. When you're rich, I guess you're supposed to show your face at these things to ensure that your cash flow is still viable. For those that make their money in the lottery or get it in a check when mommy and daddy die, they don't have to worry about trying to replenish and keep up their lifestyle. They simply go back out and play the lottery or invest in crypto. On any other day, this wouldn't be that big of a deal. I would be on my game, kissing some ass, and maybe looking for a quick hookup to take back to my place for an evening of personal contemplation. As it was, all I wanted was to get out of here. Gazing down at my watch, it had only been 7 minutes 43 seconds. Guess it was too early to call for the car? Grabbing a glass of champagne from one of the floating hostesses, I quickly downed its contents, hoping to start a buzz and blank this evening from my mind. As the taste of the liquid hit my tongue, I fought back the bile building in my mouth. Quickly, I spit the contents back into the glass, spotted the closest potted plant, and buried the evidence. This must be a $200 a plate dinner. Can't even afford cheap champagne. My excitement and enthusiasm for this evening have officially tanked, and I couldn't wait to find an excuse to get the hell out of there. A few minutes pass, and I continue my typical rounds of shaking hands and nodding polite greetings to the slew of benefactors and investors looking for some self-validation in their lives. One that caught my eye was Mrs. Julia Fairway. Mrs. Fairway was a very nice woman whose husband made his fortune developing vocal braille technology. It was an interesting concept. When an individual had little to no sight, they could wear a special pair of glasses that translated the world around them into a vocal signal that spoke to them through a microspeaker in the arm of the glasses. Unfortunately, when he died, much of his research had been corrupted and stolen by his business partner. The technology was altered and adapted for the gaming industry to create a more immersive 3D experience for sighted, privileged children. Makes me sick. The good part was that she did receive about $7 or $8 million before her husband died. She often comes to these events simply to have someone to talk to and interact with. Scanning the room for any additional interesting people filled me with disappointment. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw her. She was about 5'8" and had short brown hair. She wore a black dress and heels. She stood there, scarfing down a glass of champagne and seeming to be enjoying it. A slight chuckle came over me as she seemed out of place. I know that I haven't seen her before, and if she's enjoying that swill, I knew that this had to be one of her first times here. After finishing the champagne, she returned the glass to a floating server and started scanning the room as if looking for someone. Standing there, I observed her for a moment or two more. She seemed nervous, looking into her purse on more than one occasion. Was she looking at her phone, or something else that told her the passage of time? After a few more moments, the urge to go and speak to her overwhelmed me. She seemed interesting, and that was hard to find at this party. Making my way through the crowd, I came up from behind her. "Good evening," I said with a calm and soulful swagger. As I spoke, she seemed startled, as if she hadn't realized that I was behind her. Turning around, she had a dumbfounded look on her face. This instantly piqued my interest. "Hello, my name is Zephyr. May I ask the pleasure of yours?" Extending my hand, I placed it within hers, rose it up, and kissed it so gently. I knew it was corny and coy, but what the fuck, this evening was already so stuffy and boring. I needed to make my own entertainment, and she was going to be Hollywood starlet. After a moment of shock wore off, she smiled and laughed that fake laugh you always see in the movies. "Olivia," she replied. "Olivia, that's a nice name." "Olivia what?" I asked. "Just Olivia. It is more mysterious that way, Mr. Zephyr, don't you think?" She stood there, a slight smile crossing her thin lips. I looked into her eyes and found them smoky and haunting. "Okay, Olivia, I haven't seen you at any of these events before. Are you new in town?" I asked to start the playful banter. Yes, I'm new. Moved here from California about a year ago. Couldn't stand the heat and all those airhead blondes. I'm a girl that likes the action, limelight, and mystery that goes with the city. Taking a few steps back, she started to scan the party. Are you looking for someone? A date, perhaps, I said, hoping not to be disappointed. After a moment or two, she returned to my attention. Oh, no, sorry. I just thought I saw something. I'm here alone, and you? Do you have a lady of the evening for your arm, Mr. Zephyr? I let out a sigh. No, none of my women could make it this evening, unfortunately. However, after meeting you, I'm certainly glad for the opportunity to speak with you without their snake eyes digging into the back of my head. Many of my female companions are jealous if I speak to anyone else. I could see why. You are very attractive, Mr. Zephyr. If you don't mind my asking, what is it that you do? Clutching her purse closer, she once again starts scanning the room. Are you looking for someone? I once again asked. Turning her attention back toward me, she replied, No, sorry. I was just trying to spot one of those floating trays with champagne. Have you had any? They are really good. Her face once again came alive with a smile. As her words filled the air, I couldn't help but hold back my laughter. What's so funny, Mr. Zephyr? She asked. Oh, sorry, I guess you are new. The champagne they're serving here is swill water compared to what I drink. I had to dump mine into a potted plant shortly before our meeting. Really? Well, I would love to see what you consider high quality. Shall we get a drink? She asked. Taking a deep breath, I couldn't believe that it was going to be this easy. Well, I don't have anything here, and I dreadfully doubt that they will have anything behind the bar. What do you think of dumping this shindig and heading back to my place? I have a few bottles of the good stuff. We can have a few drinks, a few laughs, and talk on my terrace. Do you think you are up for that, Miss Olivia? If you say you have the good stuff, Mr. Zephyr, I would be a fool to pass it up. I just want you to know I don't like being disappointed. If you get my drift. With a smile, she turns and looks about the room again. Do you think anyone will notice if we leave? I don't think they will notice anything that isn't 3 inches above their snooty noses. Let me call my driver, and we can head out. Reaching for my phone, I hit a few buttons and talked to my driver. That was quick. I thought you last at least an hour, he said at the other end of the phone. Yeah, well, I found a better option. Meet us up front in 5 minutes, I say, as Olivia reached out and touched my arm. Can you make it 10? I need to freshen up before we go, she asked, pointing to the facilities. Make that 10. The driver acknowledges my request. I will only be a moment. I will meet you up front if that's fine, she said. That will be fine. I will meet you out front in 10. As I finish my response, she turns and makes her way through the crowd to the bathroom. Once I see her enter the facilities, I turn and head out myself. After about 7 or so minutes, Olivia emerges from the party, climbs into the car, and we drive off for what I hope to be a more exciting and fruitful evening.